out there that says there were people who looked African that were indigenous to America. They weren't just all slaves who came on a boat. With me, I feel open to lots of different types of information. I let what resonates with me hold true to me. I don't concern myself with how others are going to perceive it. I for one believe that because I've known images of people I've seen in like India and so on, that to me they look like they were African people, so for me, I get it. I can get that our knowledge and understanding of how things came to be in this world is controlled. It's limited by what we've been fed, basically, what we're allowed to see, hear, and receive. So that is why I strongly want to relate to everyone. Trust in your intuition, open up to consciousness. So anyway, back to why I had shared that is basically the fundamental of it is that around you there are, here in Africa, I don't know where you might be when you read this, but if I were living in Europe, I would want to share a lot of things that uplift white people, because predominantly around me may be white people. And the reason being is that when you elevate people around you, we grow as a collective. So I don't have to tell you that a narrative has been given to black people to assume, and I use that word black. I don't like to say African. I am African. Africa is a place. I like to use the word black. It's like I like to use the word bitch. It's like I like to use the word God, I like to use a lot of profanities, and I didn't want to really use profanities here. So the reason why I can use the word bitch is because it's actually a female dog, and it's used derogatory. It's like the word nigger, I had always wished that one day I could have a conversation with Oprah and I could show her that words are only as powerful as the energy we put into them. So when I met the Spartans, and I openly would tell my niggas, I love my niggas. My niggas are the shit. It's because they could feel that energy. They never took offense like, hey, who are you? If they called me a coolie, we laugh it off. We've even used the K word on each other. Because you know why? Because I was with a collective that felt energy instead of wanting to be appropriate for society and so on. So yeah, that term black, it's beautiful because everything comes from blackness. We can go into a whole long debate, but I got 4 other questions that I need to get through, and it's been going on this video. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm actually so excited. This is fun for me. So anyway, black people all around me, we know this narrative that they've been told, you can't pronounce, you instead of saying ventilator, you said vibrator, now you're a moron, you get degraded. Instead of, and I know what people are going to say, don't pick on that just because that person is an educated person. And until you do something, you don't know the calamity of it, to go out there and speak in front of people. And maybe you do know, but maybe you're not that person. So yeah, we can. I laughed hard. I saved the meme. Instead of saying ventilator, he said vibrator. It's hilarious. But he never lost his his worth in front of me. I would never call another black person a moron because one black person couldn't pronounce management properly. or in fact, what is pronunciation of management properly? Because my whole life I have been taught English, and it's become second nature to speak it. But I wish I could say more in another language other than kuch kuch hota hai. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I wish to learn more than saying. I'd like to say Sanbonani, like how a Zulu person would say it instead of how a predominantly English person would say it. You get me? I have to really put in the effort. One of my class boys in matric, I would always try to pronounce his surname. I liked his hair. He was always have that funky, cool hair, and I'll be like, and he'll play with this one part of it, and I'll be like, Mongi Tele. I will try and try it. So I think it was after high school that I managed to get the Nongu teaches me. And I always failing a bit, doing it, whatever. What is it? Why is it that when we elevate people around us, that somebody takes it as makes it about them? If I elevate 50 black people around me, then the 30 white people around us and the 40 Indian people around us now elevate too. You get me? When people, I've seen it with people I've schooled with, people I've worked with, when people around you grow, you grow. You get better and better. In fact, I want to share a story with you all. I may not get through all of these questions. In fact, I'll wrap up this video just along this question, and maybe I'll get to the other questions some other time when I feel inspired. But I had been a racist. Okay, growing up in downtown Pietermaritzburg, it's not that easy to be, and the schools that I've been to, it's not that easy, and in the time I was born in, because I was born in 1991, I went to primary school post 1994, so having African children, like black children, having Indians, having colored people in my class was nothing. Duh, they were with me since preschool, duh, The love just grows. One of my closest friends he's still actually really close to me. I don't get to see him a lot, but in grade 3 was when my relationship developed with him. By primary school, by about grade 6 or 7, I would say, I knew that he was different in the sense that he was a homosexual. And I knew how challenging that was to be an African homosexual, a black homosexual, a Zulu homosexual. I grew through the experience of loving him and knowing him. I got to know things. I got to immediately in my soul feel like, hey, you know what? This bullshit I apologize. I don't mean bullshit. To me, it was perceived as bullshit. To you, it may be important, and I respect that. But to me, it was this bullshit of saying this person is condemned by God because they are homosexual. I knew it wasn't true. I knew how my friend took me out of so many bad comfort zones. I knew that it was through him that I performed in a concert in grade 7, Coca-Cola Pop Stars. Who's it gonna be next in line? Do you remember that track? When we did everything, we did the dance, we even made do you really think I can't tell time? We were serious about that shit. Then it was through him. It was through him and a friend of mine, Nandipa. I've never seen her after primary school, but I'll never forget that girl. It was through people like that. They helped me boom, out of that. It's our experiences that we share with people. It's our experiences shared with people that grow us. That's why really no man is an island, and even an island isn't alone. I was so grateful to myself when I reached that realization, when people said like, I want to be like an island, I want to be alone, and I was like, an island is not alone. An island has the abundant sea around it. An island has palm trees and a whole ecosystem on it. More than just palm trees, but like I like palm trees. I'm a Cali kind of person. So anyway, what I wanted to share with y'all was that I was a racist, and I was a racist mostly to white people. In fact, only to white people. I had never been a racist as a kid. I never gave it a thought, like white people were just people. I hardly came across them. I had heard that one of my grandparents was white, or like somewhere in my tree. So I never, the day that I went to Pick and Pay Hayfields, I can't remember the age I was, but I was definitely still in school. I was visiting, I think my aunt and uncle. I can't remember even who I was with, it doesn't even matter. I was in one of the aisles in Pick and Pay. I think I was pushing a big trolley. I think I was blocking the way. And I was a young girl. I was definitely not yet like 15 or so, because I can remember how I looked. And I can remember this big man. I don't know if he was an Afrikaner, but you know, in your mind, we do this thing, our mind stereotypes people. And in my mind, to me, he was just an Afrikaner, and he told me like, move out of the way, Kuli, you know, and like so rudely. And I thought to myself, you're this big man and you're being so mean to a little girl, and you just, you know, and the use of the word Kuli and your attitude and the way, you know, you're just a racist pig, you know. And it's that same thing. It's that when you meet a certain type of vibration or emotion with hatred, with resistance, and that's what I had done. And then recently, when I say recently, I mean like it's been over a year or so, but with time, I got exposed to more and more beautiful people. You know, lovely white people, but I had not been open to the fact that they're part of one consciousness. I had always still them and us, and those good white people that I met, like I remember one of my close high school friends, her class girl was the first like white girl in our high school. She introduced us to her. And you know, like I would consider them to be the Eminem of white people. Like they were just a very rare few that God gave us to like show us like, hey, you know what, let those other white people know we got some white people in our crew, you know. I had never yet matured to see that until I met my friends. I'm gonna name them because I don't think they'd mind it. I met my friends Jackie, Mikhail, and Jay. They had opened me to getting to bond with white people, like on an intimate level, without forcing it. All they did was share themselves. Like Jackie was like, you know, dude, what you talking about? You know, no, that's not my experience. I've met wonderful, like if you go to PE. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe then I need to go to PE, because she's like, you know, no. And I think it's just about how you approach them. And I listened. And today I'm happy to say, like, I have made friends with people who I would have never even in my life dreamed of. A white cop, an older gentleman, he's you know, like other people would feel like a bit some type of way to say that I make friends with people regardless of what their individual is known to be, whether they married, whether they a cop, whether they a professor, whether they were previously regarded as KKK. I don't care. I want to go with the energy that you present to me. You know, we're all going to be different. That's the beauty of it. It's loving us as our oneness that helps us respect the differences that we're not comfortable with. You know, and then I just got buzzed, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to attend to that. I love you. You're one consciousness. Peace and love. May we always be together. May we always know that we're in the infinite source. Peace, yo. Namaste to my older people.